Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone today?
Excellent.
Wonderful. Look, we have a small but mighty crowd this morning, a mighty crowd filled with love. So we are here at Tucson New Thought to celebrate love. Let's kick it off with our opening song, which I'm going to tell you a little story. Right? Yes. Yes. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you've got to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm living life as God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm living life as God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm living life as God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm living life as God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm living life as God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm living life as God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm living life as God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm living life as God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm living life as God. All right. So, welcome to Tucson New Thought. As I catch my breath. We are a spiritual community. We gather every single Sunday, every single week for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to understand that right where we are, love is. The expression, the infinite expression of love is always flowing forth by means of each and every one of us, and that is what we celebrate right here at Tucson New Thought. We have come together as a spiritual community to hold the vision of a world that works for everyone, and we engage this world by providing practical tools for personal transformation and awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. So that is why we are here. That is what we are doing. And I have one thing to let you all know. Oh. Well, it'll be, so those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. And I want to let you know that we all see you. We're not going to make you stand up. We're not going to, because when I first started going to spiritual centers, I hated that. But we want to acknowledge your presence here and let you know one thing. Are we all ready? Yeah. All right. You are magnificent. You are magnificent. And we know that everyone who crosses our path is magnificent.
Only because we have to know it about ourselves. When we know it about ourselves, we know it about all of humanity. So let's claim for ourselves, I am magnificent. I am magnificent. Beautiful, beautiful. Everyone at any point of their spiritual path is welcome here. And we are here ultimately for connection. And that's what I think life is all about. It's about connecting. So I would love for us to stand up, greet our friends and neighbors, and let them know their own magnificence in our own unique, personalized way. And I would love for everyone online to know that I see you, and I'm grateful for your presence here with us today. And I know that you are magnificent. As we settle back into our seats, we're going to engage in this practice that we do every single week, lighting the flames of faith, where we ceremonially honor all faith traditions, all religious paths, all spiritual philosophies. For each candle that we light, what we are doing is recognizing that at the core of each and every one of them is the golden thread of love. That's what we are all here to teach. That is what we are all here to know. And so for each candle that we light, we're celebrating that very notion. So we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. This final candle we light is a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. This is your candle. This is the candle that illuminates those spaces in your own mind that require the light right here and right now. Thank you. If you stay, if you're going to stay there. I'm going to invite Anita up to lead us in our centering.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Speak a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. and every thought becomes a prayer.
Right in this moment, I allow myself to settle into that secure knowledge that there is only one power, one presence, one infinite creative resource. This power is love. This power is divinity flowing through, in, and as everything that exists. For there is no separation. There is only this perfect divine energy, this perfect creative spark, this perfect flow. And this is inclusive of each and every one of us. We are the very light of life. We are living love's life and calling it our own. There is no separation. We are divine. We are good. We are God. Trusting this, knowing this, and allowing this perfect flow, I know that this time that we have chosen to be together today is a time that is productive and inspiring. It is filled with wisdom and flow, and each and every one of us carries away something, some magnificent new idea today. For in this realm of new thought, we are constantly drawing into our experiences and minds the new, the progressive, the evolutionary, and it informs the flow of our life. And so I know that each and every one of us is transformed here today to a deeper sense of the I am that I am, the we are that we are, the who of what we are. We remember who we are, and we engage right here and right now in the practice of kindness, love only. Allowing this, and with deep gratitude for this, I trust in this flow and allow myself to be filled with this infinite creative power of gratitude. It is in gratitude that I know the word spoken is complete, and it simply flows forth into expression perfectly, easily, gracefully, and effortlessly. This is true for each and every one of us, and so I simply step out of the way, breathe, release, let go, and allow. As together we say, and so it is.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Thank you, Anita. We're changing it up this week and ongoing in some fashion. If you hadn't noticed, Reverend Marvis Rodriguez is still up here, which is...
Yeah, I just want the limelight.
Well, yes. Well, we need a spotlight. We'll put it right there, and it'll shine right on you. Yes.
It's all about me now.
It is. Well, it's going to be, I think, somewhat self-explanatory. Please welcome Reverend Marvis Rodriguez.
I'll explain it.
Okay. There's a microphone for you. Yes.
It's on? It's on. Typically, Reverend Jonathan asks the audience to throw out a number. We're changing that up today. He chose one for me to read. And he, after this, or a little bit later, is going to select from numbers that were put in the box a number, and he will form his talk on that reading. Scary, as a minister, I can tell you that is much braver than I have ever been. But I'm excited to see what happens. On the other hand, mine is a reading from 110 out of the Science of Mind textbook. I think it's paragraph 1. And it reads such as this: if a person takes their images of thought only from their previous experiences, then they continue in the bondage which those previous experiences create. Example, if we talk about discord, we shall become more discordant. And the more the world arms for war, the more certain it is that there will be a war. People who spend all their time talking about their unhappiness become more unhappy, unquote. My thoughts on this are right on. This became apparent to me years ago when I first started the teaching of Science of Mind. I had read a book, Your Body Believes Every Word You Say, written by Barbara Hoberman Levine. She tells the story of when she began going out on the speaking circuit in the early days of the women's rights movement. So that's probably the 80s, I'm guessing. And how she was in so much self-judgment of herself, she would continually say to herself quietly, people are going to think that I am flaky talking about all of these issues. Now, flaky was a slang word in the 80s, I'm guessing. Maybe if you all know, you can tell me when it was popular. So after about a week on the road, she developed the worst case of dandruff that she had ever had. And she could not seem to alleviate it. After a period of time of using over-the-counter medications, she found no relief. She was stumped. And then she started to listen to herself and what she was saying to herself. And she found the key to her dandruff. She made a conscious effort to stop saying, people are going to think of you as flaky. In a short bit of time, her dandruff disappeared. Now, was she consciously aware of saying, people are going to think I'm flaky? Was she consciously aware that she was critiquing herself? No, not at all. None of us are. We all have this chatterbox inside that continually gives its opinion on myriad of things, from the weather to politics to politicians, family, cost of groceries, you name it, anything and everything. And we're continually saying those phrases unbeknownst to us on a conscious level. So one that I used a lot earlier was that person or that thing or that experience or that movie or that whatever is a pain in the butt. Well, I experienced that pretty well, and I no longer wanted that in my life, so I have made a conscious effort not to say it. If anybody hears me say that, please tell me no. So I ask you to pay attention to what it is your chatterbox is saying. Pay attention to what that self-talk is. And you will be surprised at how much it influences you and how much power you have to prevent that influence from being damaging or harmful. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvis. Oh, here, I can move that for you. You make me think of the, so you all know, except for those of you who don't know, that I come from a background in musical theater, and there's a play, a musical called Into the Woods. There was a movie a few years ago, and one of the primary songs in that show is "Children Will Listen." Children will listen. Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see. And it goes on to say, you know, we need to be consciously aware of the way we are thinking, the way we are speaking, and the way we are being in this world. It's very, very new thought. It's a very new thought idea. But here's the thing. Our thoughts are our children. We need to be careful about what we're saying to ourselves. It's exactly what you're talking about. We need to be consciously aware of what we're saying to ourselves, because the law is always listening. and our lives unfold perfectly in that way, based on what we're telling ourselves all the time. So that's why affirmation is an important spiritual practice for me, because it is a reminder for me in the moment to step forth from an affirmative standpoint. And so I like to do an affirmation every single month that we repeat for a month. And so I'll invite you to take a look at the cover of your program, and I will read the affirmation aloud once, and then I would like for us all to read it together. So the affirmation reads like this: My heart is open and I live freely every day and in every way. So allow yourself to feel these words. And let's say this together. My heart is open and I live freely every day and in every way. Let's do that one more time. My heart is open and I live freely every day and in every way. Feeling is so important in the work we do. Karimon is not here today, obviously, for those of you who know Karimon. We were doing a video on Tucson New Thought's page on Friday, and we talked about feeling. And I said one of the formulas that I've come up with, because I like to think about formulas, is our thoughts plus our beliefs to the power of our feeling is what creates the quality of our life. Feeling is really important. And this is a song today that I have a lot of very good feelings about.
There's too many visionaries, too many blind luminaries, too many castaways out begging to be saved. There's too many money chasers ganging up on Mother Nature, creature comforting our paradise away. But who am I to say? I've just been born today in a cabin to myself out in the redwoods. And my word straight to God, or what I think is God. I know another way out if we all could stop for a minute, wipe the progress from our eyes, and stare at the setting sun that holds us here alive, and dream like we've never dreamed, for less, not more this time. You are my ally. If you can, so can I. Simplify. Oh. There's too many advertisements advertising, mesmerizing us into that buy it now or never dream. There's too many corporations, too many television stations, too many restaurants not serving what we need. Oh, but who am I to say? I've just been born today in a cabin to myself out in the redwoods. And my word straight to God, or what I think is God. I know another way out if we all could stop for a minute, wipe the progress from our eyes, and stare at the setting sun that holds us here alive, and dream like we've never dreamed, for less, not more this time. You are my ally. If you can, so can I. Simplify. Who am I to say? I've just been born today in a cabin to myself out in the redwoods. And my word straight to God, or what I think is God. I know another way out if we all could. Stop for a minute, wipe the progress from our eyes and stare at the setting sun that holds us here alive, and dream like we've never dreamed, for less, not more this time. You are my ally. If you can, so can I. Simplify.
Thank you. I need the basket. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. We're going to put more numbers in the basket. That is the call from the community. We can just do it with the numbers that are in there, and then we know. Okay.
Next time.
Yeah, next time. So we're changing this up a little bit too. Only because I want everyone to have an equal shot. And when I say, please give me a number, and somebody yells out a number before I've even finished the sentence, I just want to make sure that there's an equal footing for everyone. So we're going to now have people write the numbers down. And I'm going to choose this one. So today, we're going to go to page 27, right at the beginning. 27 in the Science of Mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where there are 4 paragraphs. Which one would you like me to read? 4. All right. Well, it goes right in line with the song now, doesn't it? The song is Simplify, and this is the quote. This is the simple meaning of true metaphysical teaching. The study of life and the nature of the law, governed and directed by thought. Always conscious that we live in a spiritual universe, that God is in, through, around, and for us. There is nothing supernatural about the study of life from the metaphysical viewpoint. That which today, this is one of my favorite quotes in the book. That which today seems to us supernatural, after it is thoroughly understood, will be found spontaneously natural. This is the simple meaning of true metaphysical teaching, the study of life and the nature of the law, governed and directed by thought, always conscious that we live in a spiritual universe. It's a very long sentence. That God is in, through, around, and for us. Thomas Troward writes of the divine ideal in his book that I can't remember the title of now. The creative soul, the creative soul in the individual. He talks of the divine ideal, and this is, I think, what Ernest Holmes is really talking about here, as Ernest Holmes was very, very heavily influenced by the writings and the works of Thomas Troward. The divine ideal basically says what we say every single week, which is, God is all there is. Now, I tend to go towards the word love, because love and God are synonymous to me. Love is a creative energy. It is all that exists. There is nothing, absolutely nothing separate from loving creative energy. And this is inclusive of each and every one of us, which is why I also stand up here and, to the shock and dismay of some people, I say, I am God and so are you. Because if we think that we are somehow separate from this divine creative energy, well, separation is the only thing that creates discord and heartache in our lives. That belief in separation. And so it is important that we truly, truly settle in. It's important for me. You get to decide what's important for you. It is important for me to settle in more and more and more in every action, everything I think, everything I say, everything I do. It is important for me to remember that it is God that is doing that, thinking that, saying that. God is speaking no matter who's talking, which can be a challenge when you're in a contentious discussion. Anyone ever have one of those? God is speaking no matter who is talking. That's a thing that changed my life, because it made me realize, oh, I get to have my opinion, but everyone else gets to have their opinion too, and I don't need to try and make other people think the way I do. In fact, there are people who misunderstand the metaphysical ministry, because we're not here to teach anyone what to think. We're not here to teach anyone what to think. I'm not going to tell you, you have to believe in anything. I will never say that. I will say, this is what I believe, this is what I teach, and it's up to you to make your own decisions around that, to make up your own mind. It is important that we settle into this notion that critical thinking is important, that we truly engage in critical thinking about everything that shows up in our lives, because that is a reflection of what is happening in our minds. And so, the divine ideal leads us to a divine principle, which one of my mentor's mentor succinctly explained the divine principle in these words. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. That's the whole philosophy. That's the entire teaching. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law, the law of cause and effect. How many of you are using it productively?
Well, it's all productive.
It's all productive. It all creates.
It all creates.
How are you in being purposeful about the way you produce? Not lately? So, you get to make a decision in this moment. Now, as we talk about whatever past things, right? Whatever past things you may drag into this moment's decision, that's going to create the expression of your life. So as long as we keep dredging that past with us, we're going to keep recreating based on those past ideas. But we are, each and every one of us, in a place of decision right here and right now to experience something radically different, radically new, completely unexperienced by us before. Does that sound exciting?
Yes.
Yeah? So why aren't you doing it? Or are you doing it? You might be doing it. But if you're not doing it, why not? If you're not doing it, why not? You're the one in charge. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Yes? Do you so wholeheartedly believe it that no one can convince you otherwise? Oh, no, not everybody's quick to say yes, right? The truth is, you are 100% in charge of your life. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Even I have a hard time with that sometimes, because I want to put the blame out there. I want to put the blame on something outside the self because it's so much easier. When things aren't going right, what can I look to out there for why it didn't go the way I would like it to go? A lot easier than actually saying, oh, maybe I need to look in a mirror. Maybe it's time for me to stand in front of the mirror and recognize and know who I am. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. That use of the law is always, always, always unfolding without fail. So it is a call for me in my own life to constantly do the work and be on top of what it is I am thinking, what it is I am believing, what it is I am feeling. Because those are the things wrapped together that create the quality of my life. Thoughts plus beliefs to the power of feeling create the quality of my life. And my life has gotten a lot better, and a lot better, and a lot better. And I'm so grateful for that. But I had to do the work. Oh, right? Oh, you mean this is work? I don't get to just come here on a Sunday and listen to nice words and leave and it's all going to fix itself? No, we have to do the work. We have to do the work all the time. It is lovely to be here on a Sunday. I live for Sundays. This is my favorite day of the week. In ministry, Sunday is like the cherry on top of the sundae. I never even thought of that. It is the pinnacle of what I get to do every single week. I get to come and I get to inspire myself by speaking out loud, and I hope that you're inspired as well. Notice that I didn't say I get to inspire you. You get to decide if you're inspired. I get to inspire myself. I get to do a reading. I get to consider the implications and the possibilities for all that my thoughts are doing in this world, in my life. I'm in charge. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have that playing around sometimes too. I'm in charge. Well, I don't want to be in charge, but it's so good that I'm in charge, but I don't want to be in charge. We're playing that game all the time. all the time. The tendency of our thought is a lot of what Ernest Holmes talks about. The tendency of our thinking. Because we can create specific demonstrations. We call the product of our thinking in the world of form a demonstration. We can create specific demonstrations based on our work in this philosophy. I'm going to pray for something, and that something shows up. That's a specific demonstration. But that one demonstration may not fix everything that is peripheral in our lives. So what is important is that we are doing the work to deal with the tendency of our thinking. Where our thought flows, our life goes, no matter what. And so it is a training tool. We are in a training to learn how to trust ourselves in mind to always go the way we would like to go. The tendency of our thought, not the one specific thought where our tendency flows. It's kind of like a scale, and we're always tipping back and forth on that scale. And when we hit, 51%, we're tipping on one side of that scale. But the scale can easily, if we start thinking other things, we're starting to load up that other side, and then it hits 51%, and there goes the flow of our lives. And then we start working on, I need to reset my thinking. I need to get myself back into meditation. I need to get myself back into affirmations. I need to work on my spiritual mind treatments or affirmative prayers. And so that's going to keep doing the work. And now I'm tipping the scale again. And 51%. So my life is going good. But what if we said, I'm going to make a commitment right here and right now to always be doing the work? Always. I had an interaction. It's always driving, isn't it? That's the thing that still gets me. So I live near Glen and Craycroft, and they've got Glen all messed up right now. And you can't, from Craycroft right now, they have westbound traffic closed off. You can't go westbound on Glen. So what I usually do when I'm leaving is I go up to Little Fort Lowell, and I cut across to Swan. Well, there's a Starbucks at the Swan and at Swan and Fort Lowell, and I go in there, and they know me, and our sign is down. I have to put up a new sign. And I get my beverage of choice, and then I get back in my car usually, and I will, if it's on a day where I'm not coming to the center, I'll go home. So then I drive down Fort Lowell, and then I have to turn. Well, Glen was completely closed off, and then for some reason, and I cannot figure this out, this past week, they had the traffic northbound and southbound on Craycroft down to one lane each between Glen and River. And they didn't seem to be doing any work. They just had it closed off. So I come down Fort Lowell, and then there's a turn. There's like one of those easement turns where you basically go and you try and get in with the flow of traffic. It's a yield, not a stop. So I turn and I'm there, and there's just a line of one lane of traffic. And I'm trying, and I see my opportunity to come in. Well, as I'm starting to go in, this guy, he starts speeding up to try and cut me off. And I'm thinking, okay, I can handle this. I can be zen about this. And so I'm like, okay, we didn't get into a car accident. That's good. But I'm in the flow of traffic now. And now it's going to open up to 2 lanes. And I need to get over to the left lane because I'm now going to take a left onto Glen. For all those who watch who don't live in Tucson, you have no idea what streets I'm talking about. So just go with it. I have to make a left onto Glen, but it means I have to get into the left lane from that one lane of traffic. And so it does open up right before Glen. So I start to go over. Well, this same guy, as I start to go over, he starts to try and cut me off. And I see him, and I look into my rearview mirror, and I see him going, right? Cursing me. And I'm going to say I had a very non-ministerial response to that.
Did you wave at him?
I waved at him. I did wave at him, yes. You're number one, I said. Ministers have these moments. I haven't had a moment like that in a really long time, but this was like, oh, why?
He was really annoyed.
He was really annoyed, yes. And then I made my left turn onto Glenn, and I thought, well, that was totally unnecessary on my part, because where my mind is going, I'm creating this. Oh, I'm creating it. I'm creating the energy of that experience.
Did you forgive yourself?
I did forgive myself, yes. Yeah, we're co-creators in that energy, but I don't have to buy into his energy. I don't have to buy into his energy because, first of all, we are physically separated in cars. Had I never even looked, I would never even have known. He would have been having his own experience in his own car, and I could have just blissfully gone about my day. That probably would have allowed him to decide to have an even deeper reaction.
There are those times.
Yeah. But we're the ones who make the mess in our lives. We are the ones who make the mess. And then we expect, on some level, I think many of us expect other people to clean up that mess. Think about that. We're the ones who are drawing into our experience the challenges of our life's experience. And we're going to keep drawing those challenges into our lives as long as we maintain that frame of mind, that challenge is required, or that anger is required, or that upset is required. We will keep drawing into our experience those things which reflect what is happening in our thoughts and in our belief system. The tendency of our thought is what is creating it all. And so as we draw those things in, we look and we think, oh, well, how did those things come up and show up in my life? That needs to be addressed. So go address yourself.
You go fix it.
Yeah, we want other people to fix our mess. We're the ones who are responsible. And just as easily as we have created those things which are drawn into our experience that upset us or make us angry or make us sad or whatever we are experiencing, we can just as easily create joy and peace and beauty. But I think we've been sold a bill of goods to say that those things are harder to create than the other things. So I think about this guy, blessing him on his way, forgiving myself for the experience that I have put myself in, and that's the spiritual lesson, right? And I think at the end of the day, his opinion of that experience and his whatever he was going through doesn't matter. His opinion of me doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The more I accept that other people's opinions of me do not matter, the better my life gets. That's a big one for ministers as well, because, ministers, we want everyone to love us. We want to draw everyone in. We want everybody to be inspired by our word. We want to fix the world. So many of us ministers. And what I have learned in my years of ministry is this. One of the biggest lessons I have had to learn is that I am not here to fix anyone, and I am not here to inspire everyone. I'm here to inspire those who choose to be inspired by me. And as I put myself out there and open myself up in a vulnerable space, the right people will always show up for inspiration. This goes with any of us in any of our businesses. However we choose to experience and show our creative expression in the world, as we put ourselves out there in a vulnerable place, we're going to attract into our field those who are the right people for that interaction. No matter what. No matter what. I believe that. I believe that. The more I accept that your opinion of me doesn't matter, the more magnificent my life becomes, because I am freed from a jail, from a prison that I have created in my own mind. I've decided to put up bars to say, if your opinion of me matters, that's putting up bars. And saying that we cannot know each other deeply. When I put up those bars, it's all over. The relationship is over. The more I say, I welcome whatever you choose to think, whatever your opinion is, I welcome it. And I will only look upon you with love and trust and know in my heart that you are the face of God, that you are the face of love. The relationships that we carry, the relationships that we honor in our lives are also very important, because if we understand this divine principle, we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. That is true for everyone, not just me. Everyone is the same. I always say that to claim I am the divine creative energy, I am spirit, I am God, I am love, that is the great equalizer, because I can't know it about myself and think something differently about anyone else. And so as I experience people in the world, I recognize the equality, the inherent equality that we all share when we know who we are. When I know who I am, I must know it about you as well. But it's also important that those people who don't work for us, that we send them on their merry way. They may try to cut us off in our lane, but we can send them off on their merry way, and we don't have to be engaged with them any longer. That's also hard for people. There are family members. Oh, family, right? Family. There are family members that have been cut off in my life because they don't work for me. But we have decided as a culture, as a society, that family bonds, that the sharing of genetic code is more important than that. I choose no longer to believe that. I choose no longer to believe that. Know who matters in your life. Know who matters in your life. The people who love you unconditionally are the people that matter in your life. And anyone who places conditions on love should be somebody that you should perhaps let go from your experience. We don't have to like everybody, but we have to love everybody. So here's kind of where I want to leave us today. What considerations are you making in taking charge of your perception of yourself and others? Wait, what did he say? I don't understand that. I'm going to break it down. What considerations are you making in taking charge of your perception of yourself and others? How are you choosing in this moment and in every moment? And this is going to be part of the work, right? Because to do this takes constant practice, 100% of the time. To move through life and say, how am I considering my place in this world? Am I truly living that divine principle? I am a divine being. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of that spiritual law of cause and effect. Am I truly living this right here and right now, in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment? And in doing so, am I considering that this is how I approach others as well, and their understanding of me and my perception of them? As I step into this knowledge that I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law of cause and effect, I know I have to know this about everyone else as well. You are a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by your use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. I don't know, I felt I had to say that to you right in this moment and look right in your eyes. This is the infinite truth. Because it puts us all in that place of taking true responsibility in our lives, which is not to say I am to blame for everything that I've dragged into this present moment from my past. It is to say I recognize that that's what's happened. And I am in a place where I get to decide how I choose to move forward. I don't need to carry that with me anymore. I'm in a place to truly move forward, free of the bonds of anything that I have previously thought or believed or felt. So I want us each to do mirror work this week. Oh, I did. I saw the rolling eyes. The mirror work this week is to truly step into the mirror and use those words. You know what? I'll send out an email because, unless you want to write it down, because I didn't prepare anything. Because I didn't prepare. I want us each to look in the mirror this week and look directly into our own eyes and claim, I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of the spiritual law of cause and effect. And I love myself. It's probably that last little phrase that's going to make you go over the edge the most. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law of cause and effect, and I love myself. I'm going to say it one more time so you can all catch it, and then you can all say it with me, and then you'll have it memorized. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law of cause and effect, and I love myself. You want to try and say it together? I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law of cause and effect, and I love myself. That's the homework this week. I want you to say that into the mirror every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to bed. I give homework, by the way. Because one of the things we say here is we're providing practical tools for personal transformation, and that's how we awaken humanity and ourselves to our spiritual magnificence. So go prosper, be blessed, and know that I am always available to you. Namaste. Let's, yeah. Just a little bit. So I can do that. So at the Leadership Council last Sunday, there was talk, and basically I'm going to invite you to step up with me. There was talk about how we're going to change up the service a little bit, the celebration a little bit, and I said, well, I'd like to have other voices, which is why Marvis was another voice today. And then there was some pushback by people saying, but we love when you do the random reading. And I said, okay, well then I'll do my whole talk based on a random reading. And that's how that has come to be. It's also right there.
Yes, it is.
In large letters. I will put that there for you. So let's take a moment to settle ourselves into the breath. Just relax right where we are and take in whatever it is. There may be a kernel of truth. There may be a kernel of inspiration. There may be one small thing that we get to carry with us today. It may not be the whole thing. But let's allow our minds to simply go to that one thing that has affected us in this moment and know that we are blessed in this inspiration. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Thank you. Indeed, we are blessed. We are blessed. We are blessed by your presence. We are blessed by your consciousness. We are blessed by all that you have to share. And Tucson New Thought is a community that is supported entirely through your investment, through your gift, through your contribution, through your generosity. And so whatever it is that you're offering the center today in terms of your tithe, however you choose to express it, I invite you to hold it in your hand right here and right now. and recognize that it is the energy of this divine loving presence, this divine loving power that is in form in this particular way. And it is moving through this experience, it is moving through this center to afford us the opportunity to do great work in this world. It is the sharing of love in a particular way. I honor your commitment to our vision and mission. I'm grateful to you for your support and the blessings that you share in helping us grow and expand this teaching and this ministry and this consciousness in the world. So as you hold this, I invite you then to take note of the divine giving, the statement on the inside of your program. And we'll read this together. And before we read it, I want to remind you the thing I said last week of understanding the vision of my spiritual center. It's not only knowing the vision of your spiritual center, a place where you've chosen to be, but also what is in your heart as your own personal spiritual center, to know that vision and to contribute joyfully to that. Let's read this together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. As William takes the basket around, thank you, William, I'm going to invite Anita to the lectern to offer for us some thoughts on what is happening here at Tucson New Thought.
Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. there is a weekly meditation, and it is streamed, or it's available online
It is not.
afterward. It's available afterward.
No, only if you're a part of the pre-authorized giving program.
Pre-authorized giving.
That's one of the
Okay.
benefits of being a pre-authorized contributor,
perk.
is that you have access to the Wednesday meditation online.
Right. All right. If you have a request for prayer support, there is a box, very pretty, nicely decorated. Speaking as an artist, I approve. It's lovely. Fill out a prayer request form and put it in the box, and then Jonathan will do affirmative prayer over it, and the healing begins.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us here today. And I skipped the first page. Okay, the last Sunday of the month is Potluck Sunday, and that's next week.
That is next week.
That is next week. That's right.
Yeah.
That's last Sunday. So as a gluten-free person, I have a request. They have tiles now with markers to put on if something is dairy-free, gluten-free, whatever. Please be 100% sure you know what that means before you put it on there. And if you aren't sure 100% about gluten-free, whatever, call me, because I know far more about this than I wish I ever needed to know. Okay, you and all your friends. Oh, and you don't have to bring food. We always have plenty, and you can just
Always have plenty,
You can
yeah.
just stay and schmooze and eat. You and all your friends are invited to participate in the Tucson Sacred Journey, which is November 7th to 11th. Spend 4 days in workshops and experiences designed for deepening into a sense of oneness. Mark your calendars, August 15th, full moon release party with Caramon Pierce for meditation, a releasing ceremony, and a dance party to Let It Go each month on the full moon. The party begins at 6:30 p.m. Pick up a flyer, register online, and pre-registration is required because we want to limit the numbers.
I just want to say, sorry, it says pick up a flyer on the notes. She took her flyers away because she's
No
redesigning
flyers.
them. So there are no flyers today, but they will be back
We'll be
next
back
week.
next week.
Yeah.
Jonathan and
Reverend Steph St.
Reverend
Amand.
St. Amand do the Conscious Coffee Connection, and it's not on third Tuesday?
Yeah. So the next one is August 20th. It's
20th
usually the
at 9
third
a.m.
Tuesday. Yeah. The ones in purple I was actually going to talk about, but
Okay, so also though, I have made affirmations, artist trading cards with affirmations, or little artistic things. They're on the table, and it's like love and peace and breathe and bliss, whatever. And so take a look at the cards afterwards, and if one speaks to you, you may have it.
thank you. Yeah, I didn't tell you about the purple
No, you
type.
didn't.
I apologize for that. That's totally on me. So yes, the Conscious Coffee Connection is an online forum where we come together for conversation, and we utilize a web conferencing software. Super easy. It's called Zoom. And when you first click the link for the Conscious Coffee Connection, it downloads, and it's very easy to become engaged in that. And so Reverend Steph St. Amand and I usually bring to this conversation a quote, and then we have a great, deep conversation around whatever it is that needs to come up. It is the third Tuesday of every single month. It is at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and I only say Pacific time because when everybody else goes off daylight savings, it'll be 10 a.m. here, but on August 20th, it will be 9 a.m. here. I'm going to invite you to bring that up. And I'm going to do a quick blessing with the deepest understanding that there is a power and presence for good in this universe, and it has reflected itself right here and right now by means of this abundance. And so I live in deep gratitude. I allow myself to resonate in feeling with this gratitude to know that right here and right now, this money, this God in action is flowing through this time in this place to do great work. And it is blessed, and I honor it, and I am so grateful for it. Trusting this, knowing this, allowing this, and living in the flow, I let it be. As together we say, and so it is. We also welcome your support in spreading the word. You know, we're a new community. We've been here, well, we've only been in this particular space since mid-March, but we've been a community that has existed only since last year. And we would love for you to let all your friends know. I created new flyers, which you can take to coffee shops and various places that have bulletin boards. Would love for you to post those there. And here's what I'm going to invite everyone to do. Next week, we have Potluck Sunday. Bring a friend to share in the food. Share in the spiritual nourishment as well, but let's bring them and they can also enjoy physical nourishment with us. What do you say? So thank you, Aiden, for your support today and the technical aspects of this experience. I want to say thank you to Marvis for providing hospitality, our food today, and we do welcome everyone to stay for some social time following the celebration. Enjoy the food that Marvis has brought. Thank you for providing your inspiration in the reading. I want to say thank you to Anita for singing and for doing the announcements and for all that you do. I want to thank every single one of you for being here present today. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's also present and watching online. Without you, there is nothing, I mean, I could sit here and speak to an empty room, but that would not be nearly as much fun. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let's take it out today as we kick it up a notch with This Little Light of Mine.
The dance version. It is. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Gonna let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine. You know you want to. Shine, shine. All around the world. Shine, shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, shine. Everybody say, shine, shine. You know you want to. Shine, shine. All around the world. Shine, shine. Repeat after me. When there's light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. There is beauty in the person. When there's beauty in the person, there is harmony in the home. There is harmony in the home. When there's harmony in the home, there is honor in the nation. When there's honor in the nation, there is peace in the world. No more living in fear. We're gonna let it shine. No more living in fear. We're gonna let it shine. No more living in fear. No, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. We're gonna let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine. You know you want to. Shine, shine. All around the world. Shine, shine. Oh, my brothers and sisters. Shine, shine. Everybody say, Shine, shine, you know you want to. Shine, shine, all around the world. Shine, shine. Have a great week, everyone. Shine, shine.